Hello, dear friends. We have come to the last Enneatype in our 2023 journey. So, Enneatype 9. Greetings from Norway, outside Oslo. I just came back to Norway after almost 4 weeks in southern Spain and just made it for the first snowfall here. So Enneatype 9, the peacemaker, sometimes it's called, is a very central part of this system. So the 9 sits at the top, right at the top of the diagram. And the qualities or the tendencies of this pattern can be found in all the 9 patterns. So it's foundational, it's let's say it's the basic reality of ego. And it's also the basic reality of the spiritual realm on the flip side. So, as always, we have basically 2 realities. We have the reality of ego, personality, limited consciousness. It's a consciousness that is very much focused on the external, on physical objects, on events, on getting what I need from the outside. It is based on a fundamental fear, a fundamental lack, and it has an inbuilt stress, lack of ease. The engine of the egoic reality is rejection, attachment, fear, desire. And this can be more or less frenetic, more or less harmonious, but it's basically how the ego functions. And the other reality, essential reality or spiritual reality, is discovering inner fulfillment, that simply being contains everything we were always looking for. So in terms of the 9, the spiritual reality we are looking for when we are in the 9 pattern is boundless love, or divine love, or cosmic light. It's the non-dual state of knowing and feeling everything as one, and this oneness as good and loving. So you can say the enlightenment experience of oneness through the heart, through love, awakening into reality as made of love, fundamentally, of goodness, of boundlessness, of oneness. And then there are variations of this spiritual dimension. So if we are still identified with being a separate individual or being an autonomous individual, we can tap into this reality of boundless love and experience it as a soothing, relaxing, comforting, sweet holding. It's like I'm held by existence. It's like the Divine Mother. It's like I'm embraced by this goodness. It's like there's a soft golden light and it holds me and it helps me relax and it helps me find inner harmony and inner peace, and life is good. I'm not in my trying to fill a lack or avoid something dangerous or even avoid trouble. When I am in touch with this quality of light, loving light, or living daylight, it's also called, or boundlessness, boundless love and goodness, then it's possible to relax, and it's possible to meet my difficulties, my challenges, which life always provides us with, as you know. It makes it easier and possible to stay with those difficulties, and also to open up to other essence qualities. You can say this loving, boundless, loving reality is like this origin and source of everything, including other essence qualities. So if I have a difficulty, a challenge, let's say relationship conflict or money trouble or a health issue, I can, through being in touch with this loving light or loving quality, I can embrace more easily and relax with the challenge, but I can also open up to other qualities I need to face the challenge, like courage, stability, compassion, determination, steadfastness, curiosity, openness, spaciousness, all these other qualities which are needed to deal with any difficulty. So when we are born, when we are babies, we have a natural connection to life as a good place. And if our parents and our environment is healthy, then the baby will naturally relax, naturally trust, and radiate this incredible spirit of joy and bliss. Unless it's hungry or has a stomach pain or something, it will make it loud and clear that I need my needs to be met. When they are met, it's okay immediately. So for a baby, this is a reality, and they are, you can say, an expression of this living daylight, of this loving light, of this divine love. And that's why it is so nourishing and soothing to hang out with a baby, as you know. So how come we don't just bring that with us, all of us, as we grow and mature, and still radiate this trust in life and this loving, selfless, generosity and trust in existence and relaxed ease? Most of us, we don't live like that most of the time. How come? What happened? Basically, what happened is that the holding was not perfect. Nobody can hold a sensitive baby perfectly and see it perfectly and provide everything perfectly. That is the main reason that the baby at some point didn't feel safe to relax and started contracting and started to be strategic and tactical to get what I need, the smile from my mama. I start to be calculating. I start to be manipulating. I start to tense up. I start to feel that the world is not as good and safe as I thought. And as we grow up, this feeling intensifies, and all our strategies to cope with this reality and this challenging world solidifies into an incredible package we call personality and ego. And it's needed. It's a necessary stage. So we don't need to see it as a flaw. And most of us, we stay at that level, more or less functional. So we have functional egos, can be prime ministers, head of big corporations, have happy families, be satisfied at quite a high level. And you have dysfunctional egos, are incapable of holding a job, a relationship, constantly in conflict, all kinds of trouble, fear, worry, resentment, anger, So there's a scale. But even at the top end of the scale, in egoic reality, there is an underlying stress, an underlying lack, an underlying disconnection, an underlying wanting something, feeling something is missing in my life. What is it? I'm not sure, maybe, but something is off. And of course, many people will try to avoid noticing that. And this is the pattern of the 9. Falling asleep to the fact that I am asleep to a deeper spiritual reality. So basically, from as identified with personality ego, we are asleep to a deeper reality. We are living on the surface. We are superficial. Even when we speak deep things and we engage in deep cultural activities and discussions, and we are still superficial and involved in distracting ourselves and getting our needs met and getting our support met from the outside, as long as we don't, or as long as we're not in touch with this deeper reality of essential spiritual dimensions of life. So can be specific essence qualities like solidity, like curiosity, like strength, like power, like compassion. But in this case, it is what's underlying all those qualities, which is a boundless ocean of goodness, of bliss, of wonderfulness, beauty, richness, complete fulfillment, satisfaction with nothing needed. And I can relax. I can be at ease. I don't need to distract myself. I don't need to avoid looking at myself because I'm not asleep. If I'm asleep, I want to avoid noticing that I am asleep because it's painful. So I convince myself I'm okay, I'm fine, I'm good. And what I'm doing is meaningful, and so on and so forth. And it is at that level, it can be. Or if I'm a more dysfunctional ego personality, I think if I become more functional and I get what I want, relationship, money, better health, then I will be peaceful and happy. But it will not happen at this deeper level in this way. The shift from this egoic to the essential realm goes through a big challenge. It's the hero's journey. We have to face the dragon, we have to face the abyss, we have to face the lack, and that's something we're not very interested in as ego personalities. We want the goodness of this divine love, of inner peace, inner fulfillment, but we don't want having to face the lack, the terror, the lostness, the deficiency, the loss of identity, the ego death. We don't want. The ego wants to survive, and here in the middle is a death. And here is the rebirth into the spiritual realm. So for the 9, which then you can find in all the 9 types, there is this constant temptation to focus on getting what I need from people, events, things, places, from the world. I hope the world will provide me with the peace and comfort I'm looking for. So the 9 is very focused on finding comfort, finding ease, finding peace. And this is like trying to create the true thing, this harmonious, peaceful, divine love, trying to create it in the world by avoiding conflict, by mediating, by making people happy, by having an awareness of other people's needs and serving them, and trying to hang out with people who inspire me and where I feel I'm more easily in touch with this inner peace and comfort. So avoiding conflict, avoiding discomfort, avoiding difficulties, distracting myself, staying on the surface, changing, not because I'm not in touch with the deeper reality. When I'm here in this egoic world, I don't know who I am, really. So in a sense, I'm lost. It's very hard to stay focused in one direction. If I ask, what do I need? It's not easy to answer. Or who am I really? What am I? Coming home to myself is coming home to this dimension. And again, we don't want to face that terror in the middle, most of us. So there are two steps. The first step is I have to be honest with myself and say, actually, I am asleep to my deeper reality. I don't know who and what I am at a deeper level. And the peace I'm able to find is not the deepest peace. So it's about being realistic and being honest with myself. I'm not as enlightened as I'd like to think. I'm not as peaceful as I like to think. My peace is to a large extent manufactured, probably. So, as we know the saying, a peace that passeth all understanding. This peace is a full aliveness. It's a vibrating, generous aliveness. So when I am in this divine love connection or living daylight or cosmic light, I'm in touch with the spiritual peace reality. Then, since I'm not in separation, not in fear, and not in a sense of lack and trying to get, I am naturally generous. I'm overflowing, I'm giving, I'm sharing, I'm contributing naturally. Giving because it is my nature. I don't see myself as separate from anybody or anything. I share what I have because that's what flows naturally. And I don't think of myself as generous, and I'm not giving to get. I'm like the sun, I'm just sharing my rays. I'm like a flower, I'm sharing my beauty, my nectar, my smell. So this, you can say, if we look at this egoic line, you can see at the top, functional nines, less rigid. At the bottom, more rigid, more fixated. So they will look very different. A healthy 9, but still not transformed, up here, will be a very easy, nice person to be around. They are easy people to like and easy people to relate with, and they can be very active. Although the passion of the 9, the challenging emotion, the suffering state, has to do with indolence or inertia, procrastination, not managing to stay on the track. I get sidetracked and I'm not heading here, I'm heading different places. I'm actually not heading to spiritual reality because I want to avoid all these difficulties which are in the middle, the hole, the fear, the pain, the hurt, the conflict. So I'm trying to find this over there, over any place but where it is. So I'm not looking for the key where I lost it in the dark. I'm looking for the key under the light, under the street light in the grass, although I lost it some other place because it's more comfortable. But it doesn't work, as we know. So, spiritual bypassing. I'm bypassing and I find let's say, functioning, well-functioning 9 pattern, I find peace, I find comfort. I'm maybe an expert in finding peace and comfort and harmony. But it's not deep. It doesn't deeply inspire people. It's like they're not deeply touched by me. I'm nice to hang around with, easy to be friends with, but it's not like meeting a master. Because the peace and harmony of a master is peace which is over here, or more awakened person, or self-realized person. This has a deep generosity of spirit, has a deep power, has a deep engagement, and there is real action. So the challenge for the 9 pattern is to find this real action and stick with it. An action which is, when it comes from here, is flowing effortlessly. Yeah. I took some notes. Let's see what else I wanted to say about this. Yeah. So another word for it is loss of interiority. So our interiority is our spiritual dimension. You can also call it pure subjectivity. It's like, you know, if you're very much identified with ego reality, and somebody says to you, close your eyes and just, you know, go in. So I close my eyes. I try to follow the instruction, go in. There is no in. There is no interiority. There's just some restlessness, some thoughts coming and going. It's like, no, in, not attractive. Thank you very much. I need to go for a run. Then I'll feel better, take a sauna, be with my beloved, have nice sex, eat some good food, be with some nice people, see a nice sunset by the ocean, go on a kayak trip, go kite surfing, travel to a beautiful city, whatever. But go in, interiority, I don't know what it is. I'm asleep to it. That's why meditation sounds good, but actually the first step of meditation is to discover the lack of anything there and basically being disturbed and flat inside. Deficient emptiness. So you can see the whole world and most of us, we spend most of our time trying to cope with the fact of our loss of interiority, loss of inner fulfillment. Our life is basically about finding and maintaining whatever fulfillment we're able to find and maintain from our environment, from our activities. And everything in the world supports that approach, like our consumer society. Buy this, buy this, buy this, buy this, do this, do this, do this, do this. Become like this, become like this, become like this, become like this, and you will be happy. So, to recognize that I am idealizing comfort, I'm looking, seeking comfort, I'm spending a lot of energy trying to find comfort and avoid pain, discomfort, lack. And recognize this is an idealization. This is effort from ego. This is never gonna give me the real thing. So this is step 1, you can say. The deeper transformation is when I become willing to face the lack, to dive and meet the whole and the fear of the whole. And how will that be experienced? It will be experienced as a lack of holding and a lack of trust, lack of basic trust. So as I enter this center, this middle ground, I will feel nothing is holding me. I lack holding. And then my mind will say, go find some holding. A friend, a place, money, work, anything. But no, I'm committed to meet this unpleasantness, maybe with the help of a coach or a friend or a retreat. Lack of holding, lack of trust. I can't relax because there's nothing holding, and I don't trust that life is loving and supporting. I have to do it. Meet the feeling of lack of trust, lack of holding, lack of love. Of course, it is not easy, but that is the direct path. As we allow the lack and all the fears and reactions we have around the lack, we will open to a spacious emptiness, nothing there. Surprising. That is the beginning of interiority, inner space, and it's empty. But this emptiness is not a deficient emptiness. It is more like the emptiness of potential. And it's peaceful. I'm not disturbed there. The whole in itself is not painful. It's a spacious, peaceful, quiet emptiness. If I can tolerate that and surrender to that, the next thing is the missing quality will manifest, will arise. The divine love will arise, either experienced from the outside or from the inside. In one way or the other, a little bit or a lot. A soothing presence, a golden light, a sense of ease and well-being inside. A sense that, oh, love is available. It's everywhere. And it's me. I am also love in me. And it doesn't fit. It's a surprising thing because it doesn't fit the egoic reality at all, with all the wars and killing and materialism and conflicts and superficiality. It's like, it doesn't fit that the world is made of love and I'm love and we're all love and goodness is everywhere. It doesn't exactly fit. It's surprising. So for the ego mind, this is just talk, and it's like being naive and unrealistic. But from the experience, there's no doubt. It's like, wow, finally. It's awakening to the blissfulness of existence, another dimension. Now, how do these dimensions go together? Well, it's like I find the sun in my heart, a loving sun. Now this sun can be brought into all the strife and suffering and difficulties of normal life. I can be a source of light wherever I am. I can find and offer trust and holding in the middle of hell. There's enough hell to read about every day in the news these days. Israel, Palestine, Ukraine, Sudan, and so on. But it's like this every day. There are billions of people suffering from not enough clean water, not enough food, not enough safety all over the planet. When I find this ground of being as a loving light, I feel I want to share the beauty I have found, will want to express itself and enter this world. It's not separate from this world. I feel the world is loving and beautiful. Let's live this beauty in daily life. Why fight? Why kill? Why be in such competition? Why not be in harmony, So I become a natural peacemaker, natural harmony maker, natural spreader of light. I become a light worker. But it's not a choice. It is not an identity. It is not something I need to make a big fuss about. It's ordinary, it's natural. I don't think about it. I just am in touch with this deep reality, which also makes me unafraid of death. I feel the whole world is a drama. It started billions of years ago. It's going to end and something else will begin. And there is joy, there is pain, there is suffering. Let's live and share the love that's already here. I become an instrument of this light wherever I am without trying to be. And again, it's not either or, it's to some degree or to a bigger degree, we can bring this in. And sometimes we are more in touch, sometimes less, sometimes we have more to offer, sometimes less. So we can speak much more about the 9 pattern. Now, I talked for half an hour, give some basic pointers. So I just want to summarize again. It's about wanting, like the desire of the heart to live from reality, from a realness, from a deeper reality, from a spiritual reality, from inner fulfillment, and to recognize that being asleep to this deeper reality is the most common state in the world for humanity and also for most of us. And to be realistic that it's a deep commitment, a lifelong commitment to again and again remind myself that all these distractions, all this external seeking of satisfaction will never fully satisfy me. I need to pass through the gate of hell, the dragon. I need to enter the cave and find this diamond. And it's not one diamond. It's all dimensions of spirit. And so this journey is done again and again. And here we're looking at the more fundamental aspect, boundless love, being non-separate. It's infinite, and I'm not separate. And there's a light of spirit in the world, in my heart, in everything, as through, with, and in everything. And being not in touch with it can be an inspiration for real action, for sitting down, for meditating, for doing inquiry work, for going to a retreat, for dealing with the lack, not getting depressed, hopeless, giving up, giving into despair, getting depressed and just, becoming a hedonist, but actually taking the lack as a challenge. It's not satisfying, and I'm committed to find the real thing. Like a desire from the heart more than a desire from the head. And this curiosity, to be curious, like, what is more real in this moment? So whatever we are in touch with, we can strengthen by taking a conscious in-breath and out-breath and just drop in immediately. And we can tap, at least put our little finger, tap into that source. Whatever we have already liberated, we can nourish it. stopping, noticing, allowing, here I am. I am more than my thoughts, my feelings, my body. It doesn't matter what I achieve, my image in the world, what people think of me, my success, my doings. What matters is this moment to tap into a deeper dimension of existence, of my nature, of being. This we can do in any moment. And then the deeper work is to be willing to face the terror, the hole, the deeper mistrust, the deeper deficiency. And it's quite interesting also, the whole thing. So as we do this for some years, we don't think of these holes as so terrible. Okay, here it comes, another one. Let's see. I'm curious. So enjoy your breath, in breath, out breath, sensing arms and legs, body, remembering there is something deeper, being curious, stay open, and keep exploring. Never stop exploring.